Greetings from around the world. Thanks for joining me here this morning. Who we got in the chat? Twiddlers Plays, yo, Carcinogen. Back again, thanks once again. It's Friday. Pretty excited about that, aren't you? Best time. Why did the man at the factory cut out all the Fridays off the calendar? He wanted the day off. Good morning, everybody. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Magic players of all ages. Thank you so much for joining me on May the 12th, 2023. This is Brody Alfonso here on the morning show. Happy to bring you folks another episode of Morning Magic Stocks and Talks, where we ask the question, do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much gall darn information? Is there enough to keep you informed? Is there too much information? Is it too darn confusing? Are you losing your mind? Well, if you're going to lose your mind, you might as well join me here on Fridays anyway. I'm going to lose my mind each and every morning on the morning show, so you can join me. Let's go. Before we do that, let's warm up here on the stream, make sure everything is working just right. We're going to check out some AI-generated Magic cards here this morning. If you haven't been here once before, you know your time is valuable and you don't have time to waste. Thank you for spending some time with me, but here's the rules. If the card is playable any way whatsoever, even if it's a little overcosted, if it costs a few more manas than it should, maybe some manas in pajamas, still hanging out on Friday morning, you're going to hear this sound. Ah, yes, that's the sound of the dinger. And if the card has got word salad on it, if it's unplayable, if it's actually a piece of garbage, we don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. You'll hear this sound. Yeah, that's the buzzing, cousin. Let's do this. It's morning Friday. Great to be here. Thanks for spending your time with me. Let's get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a tea, hot chocolate, whatever it is, whatever you're brewing. Brody's got you in the stream this morning. Dust my eyes deceive me. Let's make sure everything's working just right. Blue screen Brody, right? Ha. Can't keep me down. Technology. Great when it's working. There we are. Holy smokes. Poof. From a plane beyond straight to the living room. Brody's with you here this morning. Wherever you are, whether you got me dragging from the bumper of the car, whether you got me hanging out in the chat, maybe you got me next to the coffee pot. Wherever you are, wherever you got Brody along for the ride, I want to thank you. Thanks for joining here. We got Benson is in the house. Good morning, Benson. Benson and friends. Nice to have you folks here today. All right, let's get the chat working. What's this first one? 10 of 9. Look at the 10-9. That's interesting. Well, let's read the card here. The number, I guess this is like, you know, Elon Musk's kid has got the, is it 10 of 9? Is that, I can't remember. But 10 of 9, cost 6 mana, 2 black and 4. Sit down, 10 of 9, eat your breakfast. Okay, it's a flying 6/6. Whenever 10 of 9 attacks, it gets XO until end of turn, where X is the upreel of the same mana symbol in the mana cost of permanents you control. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Pardonnez-moi, je ne donne plus. Get out of here, 10 of 9. I don't know what the uptake or the upreel of the same mana symbol is. Nevertheless, we don't have time for that. Creepy art on this sucker here today. Good morning, Michael Superbacker. You got the waffles, the coffee, the eggs in the pan, the pancakes, the berries, the blueberries, the juice, and a glass of milk. That is a nutritious breakfast, my man. I am hungry already. Let's do it. Had some fun over at the round table last night. Anybody who didn't join, shame on you. And anybody who was there with us checking it out, thanks for joining. How are we going to rate this card? Fair to unplayable, word salad. It's got to be everything. See, what could this be replaced with and actually make it a decent card? When 10 of 9 attacks, it gets XO, where X is the total of mana symbols in the mana cost of permanents you control. That could be busted, but it's just going to, you know what? It's not for breakfast. Some word salad. That's right. Get it out of here. Huh? Just some creepy eyeball art? Okay. The Mountain. This is like a rendition. This is the third or the fourth of the rendition of the art in this AI-generated art series. We saw this one just the other day. It's almost like they just took the same art, put different colors on it, and then shipped it out. Ship it. Ship it to rip it. All right, check this one out. If you're hungry, if you got some breakfast on your mind, this is the card for you. Fork the Sky with the Harvest for 1 mana. Fork the Sky with the Harvest, you can too. It's an equipment. It's an enchantment. It's an enchant creature. It gives enchanted creature +2/+2 and has tap, add 1 mana of any color. Now that's my kind of enchantment. Excellent. Excellent. We'll take it. Fork the Sky with the Harvest. Crazy art on this, hey? Let's zoom in here. We got like a field. We got some Canadian maple leaves, maybe. I don't see the fork. How are we going to rate this? Fair? Unplayable? OP word? Let's give it a fair. OP? How is this OP? 1 mana and 1 mana. It doesn't say. All right. It doesn't say. We could even give it an unplayable. It doesn't say what the equip cost is. It's got no equip cost. Good morning, bro at Nam. Thanks for joining, Mr. Dual Brain Ed. How you doing, Broham? Nice to see you this morning. Greetings from the Bro Show here today. The thinkingest man of the Magic the Gathering game joining us here just the same. We've got this card here, Merchant of Heliod. What's Heliod buying from the merchants anyway? What's he got? Anger Collections is in the house. Oh, yo. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. How you doing, Anger? Nice to see you. Hit that chat button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, all the heavy hitters are here. All the folks. Everybody's here this morning. The Merchant of Heliod. 1 red and 3 for this 2/2. This is a overcosted bear. It's got Mutate. Sacrifice Merchant of Heliod. Shuffle your library, then repeat the process. Sacrifice it, shuffle your library, then repeat the process. What? Tick-tock. Got some wolf face on it. Look at this. It's got some eyeballs, creepy wolf face eyeballs, Merchant of Heliod. What's Heliod buying from the wolf? Maybe he's buying some small children from the gingerbread hut. I don't know. Maybe it's like a Hansel and Gretel story. I'm not too sure. Creepy wolf card. Get it out of here. Fair, unplayable, word salad. Let's go with the unplayable. Unplayable. That's what you are. This is where we ended up yesterday. This bear zombie. A zombie for 1 green and 2. A 2/2 with encore. Encore une fois. The Francais. Long. When Rage Stalker enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. When it attacks, you may pay an energy. When you do, it gets +2/0 until end of turn. Why is it red? I have no idea. It should be white, right, Benson? Why is the merchant world? Why is the merchant a wolf? Because what big eyes you have, Benson. Good morning. All the better to sell you things. Is that you, Grandma? Is that you, Benson? Come closer. That's why. I don't know. All right, folks, those are your AI generated magic cards this morning. It's great. It's good. It's happy to be here. We're ready to do this. We've got some interesting cards to go over, some articles here at the stock desk, including Steve Heisler's coming back with some Magic the Gathering articles. I am just going to pull up a little bit of my research here this morning. It's good time. It's Friday, yabba dabba doo day. Are you getting ready to slide down that dinosaur's tail? Get out of here for the weekend. Everybody's ready to party. If you're going to a Friday night magic, make sure you bring a friend to Brody's. Stop on by. It's a good time, especially for the bro show. We're going to be, hopefully, I got to work this weekend. I do. I got called the working man for the working man. Got called to post. I'll be at my station this weekend. Hope you guys are having some fun and playing some magic cards. Fresh off the presses. Okay, let's check this out. Couple of our news articles here for you this morning. We're going to do one article, then we're going to get to your movers and the shakers this morning. We're going to do a recap on all the cards that are selling in the world of Magic the Gathering. Let's do it. Grab your coffee, sit down. Here's this article here for you folks. Magic fans are displeased with the aftermath duplication issue. Duplicates. Okay, let's check out what's the issue. What's the issue? Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is the issue? Players are beginning to open the first mini set that Magic the Gathering has ever offered. We're never experienced like this, so there are bound to be some unexpected occurrences with the first 50 card set. It's not even a set release day, and the few that have opened some of the packs are posting their contents. And it's an unsettling trend. Now that the common cards are gone, players are opening a lot of the same uncommons. So much so that ending up with more than a playset of each uncommon in the entire set in a box seems incredibly likely. Nothing uncommon about these. Just, whoa! Duplicates on duplicates of uncommons. Have you felt like you've been had? Are you opening this stuff? Are you glad to have enough uncommons in your life? Yikes. Early posts of the MTG Aftermath loot has revealed something pretty shocking. It looks like the uncommon cards in the MTG first mini set aren't going to be worth very much. Redditor Tideshark shared the majority of his contents with their epilogue boosters, and there are lots and lots of duplicates. For reference, players will only ever need 4 copies of non-basic land cards. To play in a Magic the Gathering, Commander only allows players to play 1 copy of each card. And traditional constructed formats only allow for 4 copies. As you can see, the images above, the play sets of each uncommon, as at least in a bundle, you should be incredibly easy. Ironically, you'll likely end up with too many of these cards, considering they're unlikely to be worth much. Finding issues for them may be challenging. There's only 15 uncommons. What? There's only 15 and you're going to get 4 in a playset in a box? You're going to get too many? This isn't surprising, considering that only 15 of the 50 cards in the entire set are uncommons. The remaining 35 cards are unique and offered apart. The rare slot, this is only made worse by that each slot of Epilogue Boosters offers, here's one overview: 2 non-foil uncommons, 1 non-foil rare or mythic, a traditional foil card of any rarity. For approximately 1 in 6 boosters, this rare is a mythic, and 1 booster fun card in any rarity. For 1 in 6 boosters, this is a traditional foil card, and in 1 in 6 boosters, this is a rare or mythic. I don't see how any of this set can maintain any value. 1 added card or token. It's like a little recipe. First, you take a pinch of 2 non-foil uncommons, 1 non-foil rare or mythic. Mix it all together with a traditional foil card in any rarity. For approximately 1 in 6 boosters, this rare or mythic, add 1 booster fun card, add 1 in 6 boosters. It's just gonna get worse. In other words, of the 5 cards available in Epilogue Boosters, 2 of the 4 of them are going to be uncommon. Additionally, the 2 flex slots have a 16.67% or a 1 in 6 chance of being rare, meaning the majority of your packs are going to have 3 or more uncommon cards in them. Theoretically, you may only need 4 packs of Magic the Gathering Aftermath to own every single uncommon card in the set, though this is pretty unlikely to actually happen. Either way, owning every single uncommon card in just 4 packs of the core set is generally not a statement players would be expecting to hear. Is there value in the variant? Needless to say, this is not the best early look at March of the Machines Aftermath taking Reddit. Players are particularly unimpressed with the repetitive nature. Stop that, Brody. Stop the repetitive nature this morning. The repetitive nature of early looks. Kylan Perdon, thanks for joining us here. Buddy Opalo, friend of mine. Kylan's Card Shack joining us here this morning. Twiddlers in the house, dual brains here. Fallen Empire is a better investment. Nice. This is not new. If you're witnessing the return of Fallen Empire's effect, this is not new. There's the comment. This is not new. You are witnessing the return of the Fallen Empire's effect. This is exactly what this is some comments from people on Reddit. This is exactly what happens when people thought would happen, and it happened. This is exactly what people thought would happen, and it happened. Buying this product means you'll get a bunch of duplicates. I'll say it again, and when they take the commons out of the set, it just throws everything One rarity tier down. Fallen Empires is better than this. One thing that many players have commented on this set seems to be an experimentation in terms of cards holding value according to how their rarity variants are. This is a common tactic in the entire trading card industry. Outside of the scarce collectible items like serialized cards, this largely does not work for MTG like it does in other games. We've added other dimensions to it, and now about the time the uncommon and rare slot that you get the base version printings of the new common Chaff. Oh, it's Chaff, all right. Chaffy Chafferson from Chaffertonsville, Chaffatonia. Chaffazona. All right, just look through these picks and you'll see the ratios are way off. Oh my god. I can't stand it. I got to get doing something different. This is just depressing. 5-card boosters. 5-card mini boosters. Just a little bit. All right. Can I get a 5-piece? Folks, let's look at your movers and the shakers here. I know that's why you're here. I know your time is valuable. We ain't got time to waste. Ladies, let's check out our movers and your shakers. Let's get them here into your face for the week. The winningest cards in the game of Magic the Gathering, right? We're going to look at the all list. We looked at everything under the sun. Modern Monday, Pioneer Tuesday, Pauper Wednesday, Legacy Thursday, and Fantastic Friday, where we look at all the cards. I am a Mind Goblin. Nice. Okay. Speaking of mind, I've lost my mind, and it's about time to get onto your movers and the shakers here this morning. Let's look at this couple of cards here. I'm excited to see what's moving on the super duper list of the super duper things. These are your movers, your shakers for... Who's the 777 bear? Hello. Let's talk to the bear here before we go. Good morning, 777 Bear, the luckiest bear in the world. Thanks for joining us here. I would like everybody in the channel to give a warm welcome to new viewers, new commenters, new subscribers, anybody joining us for the very first time. It's Friday. It's Yabba Dabba Doo Day. Thanks, Bear, wherever you are. Thanks for joining the chat, the stream, the conversation. If you know what I mean, it's a sensational show every Friday with the bro, the fans, the amazing people just like you. I want to thank you. Let's give a warm welcome to the bear here on the Bear Show. I mean, the Bro Show. Greetings from a plane beyond. These are your movers and your shakers today. Aha! Oh God, I can't troll you. Good morning, John from the Barrel House is here. Very nice. Everybody's in the house. All right. Where'd my comments go? Mind Twist at the top of the list here this morning. Pretty cool card. I like it. This is a good card. Banned in all kinds of formats, though. This one seems expensive. Was that you, Kylan? All right, let's check it out. Mind Twist. X and a black. Target player discards X at random. This card was really busted. It's really busted. I like the art on it. Shout out to Mike the Alpha Hoarder, because I think he uses this art over at his channel. Beautiful. Good morning, John from the Barrel House. I like it. All right, let's check it out. Chat's up. Make sure this is working good. Target player discards a card at random. This was a rare. This was a card that was very controversial. It was played in the Rack deck with Hypnotic Spectre and Hymn to Torak. Actually, very good. 1 black and X, you can just make your opponent discard their entire hand. Seems like a decent card. In discard deck, discard was like... See, that's the funny thing about Magic. Good morning, Gaming Bob. A black control deck, like when we talk about control decks in this day and age, we usually think of a blue deck. Oh, it's a control deck. It's, counter spells and everything else, right? So... Hey, thanks, Bear. Appreciate you. Hey, you're watching on Twitch. That's why I can't see the comments. Okay. I can see them when they come up. Otimo Bomb Swag, if you need help streaming on Twitch, we're a community of 1,300 streamers and supporters, no problem. I will check you out. I don't have too many people following over on Twitch, but I got it up because I'm trying to find new people to hang out with and talk about games and Magic cards and have a little fun with. As you can see, we got all the cool cats in the house this morning, including yourself, so welcome. Okay, let's check it out. Thanks for watching on Twitch. Mind Twist, Black Control. When we think of control decks, we usually think about blue decks, like with counterspells and arcane denial and force of will and everything else that hey, Patreon, nice. You're gonna get yourself a shirt. Okay, so I gotta go back to the movers and the shakers. Black's answer to a black control deck was discard. So you played Mind Twist, Hypnotic Spectre, and Disrupting Scepter. Let's check out the Disrupting Scepter. Let's disrupt things here this morning. Brody always got hit with the scepter in class. Why are you disrupting the class, Brody? Out in the hall. Beat it. This is a card. It costs 3 mana. You tap it with 3 into it, and target player discards a card. Activate only during your turn. So the Hypnotic Spectre, the Disrupting Scepter, Mind Twist, Hymn to Torak, and any of the black discard effects, including the Rack to deal damage to your opponent, goes with this card, the Rack. Man, the Rack was I loved the art on this. The series for these little doll cards, I guess the stuffy doll looking cards, little tortured doll cards. There was the Rack and Black Vice. Like a turn 1 Black Vice. Like that was just as good as better than Bolt, right? Black Vice. That was a play. Look at this. It was like turn 1 Black Vice. Take that. Go. Take 3 damage, right? Like for 1 colorless mana, Black Vice goes in your deck. If your opponent has more than 4 cards in hand, they take 1 damage for each card above 4. So you start with 7. So I mean that 3 is gonna it's gonna give you this is like a Bolt, but better because if they don't play their stuff, they're gonna get hurt. And then the Rack is the opposite. If they have less than 3. They reworded it, but if they have less than 3, it deals 1 damage. So when they have too few cards in their hand, and this is a card that just like gets rid of their hand, the rest of the hand. I got myself signed up for a Brody Patreon this morning. I appreciate that. That's gonna be cool. Give me 6 months. Give me 6 months, Carcinas, and we'll send you your Brody 2 shirt. Thank yous went out last Monday, so you'll be getting something here. Right? You hate the hand destruction deck, Bob. I know. Hated hand destruction decks. You forgot Dark Ritual, Hypnotic Spectre on turn 1 before you even play your first land, right? Disgusting. I know. So that was Rack Control or Black Control. Black didn't play Control like Blue Mage did. Black played Control by saying, I'm going to take all the cards out of your hand. Michael Superbacker says it would be interesting if an upcoming set Let me read the comment here, Michael. It's a good one. It would be interesting if an upcoming set was a complete mystery. No card game, no spoilers until I physically had the box in my hands. That would be cool. I'm assuming back in the day sets weren't so spoiled before their release. No, they weren't spoiled at all. Now we're spoiled because we are spoiled because we get everything as well. Actually, there's one addition you can get is a mystery booster. The mystery boosters, you don't know what's in the packs. In fact, there is a box of those here. They belong to Mrs. Alfonso, and we got to do a mystery booster box draft, so that'll be fun. We got a box of mystery boosters sitting here. And those are the only ones that you don't know what's in them. Except you might have an idea what sets they're from. Let's look at this card. Movers and Shakers Daily Change. What about the weekly change? Mind Twist, Mox Ruby, Black Lotus, Mox Jet, Time Twister. Dark Pack, Time Twister again, Wrath of God, Black Vice, and Underground Sea for the weekly changes. These are your weekly winners. But for the day, we got this Dark Pack. You know, it's really funny for me to see this. Always these anti-cards showing up on the Movers and the Shakers each and every morning, but they're unplayable. So maybe this rare in alpha is sought after by collection builders. Is it possible? that all the people collecting these alpha rares want to stack the Dark Pact and any of the anti cards. Hard to say. This card, you can't play it. It's pretty much banned in every format. Banned in Vintage, banned in Legacy, not legal Modern, Standard, Explorer, Pioneer, Historic, Alchemy, or any of the newer formats. And you can't play it. It's just not legal. You can't play it in any format. Because it says this. 3 mana. Remove Dark Pact from your deck before playing if you're not playing for Anti. There you go. Nobody plays for Anti hardly anymore. Nobody plays for Uncle. Nobody plays for Anti. It's so sad. Exchange the card. You own target card in the anti pile. Exchange that card with the top card of your library. So it's pretty amazing art, though, isn't it? Joel Brain says Quentin Hoover art. Look at this art on it. I like this. Crazy art from early back in the day when we had Magic cards with amazing art. That's so cool. Thank you, Carcinogen. Let me just take a minute to say thanks to Carcinogen here for joining the Patreon. Carcinogen, thanks for joining the Patreon. You've joined the elite faction of Magic the Gathering fans. We're going to be sending you the Brody shirt. I'm going to need you to message me over on the Patreon. Let me know what your size is. Next round of thanks is to go out. You give me 6 months on the Patreon, and we will send out your Brody tees to each and everybody. Okay, so I'm going to break it to you folks here today. I was talking to Ed, the dual brain, over just yesterday because him and I are tight. We're tight. We text all the time. We chat, just like Game and Bob. We're tight. But it's good that you join the Freetron. After 6 months, you get the Brody t-shirt, okay? And then we're going to be doing a series of Brody t-shirts. But this is breaking news right here, right now. Yeah, I got to say it. Okay, so those t-shirts are going to become important. So anybody who has the Brody t-shirt, anybody who's been on the Patreon for 6 months is going to qualify to claim your free Brody t-shirt. Just give me your size. I'll ship it to you with a thank you. And then let's cut it off. Let's say Brody t-shirts, once they're out and about in the world, I'm going to be doing a draw, a giveaway. Brody's getting into some giveaway action to anybody who posts a picture to my Twitter feed wearing the Brody shirt at their local game store or at a Magic event. So if Carcinogen, we'll let you get. We want you to get in on this. So it's going to be kind of fun. I know some of the folks out there have received the Brody shirts as thank yous, and Michael Superbackers went out in the mail. So did Benson's. I like it. So you guys should be receiving yours Brody shirts very shortly. Johan Matuzzi out in Sweden, he got his shipped to him just on Monday as well. So those all went out just this week. And they're going to be important. So anybody who has received a Brody shirt as a thank you, don't use it to wash the car. I mean, you can, but don't use it. Don't throw it away. It's going to be important because down the road sometime this year, we're going to be doing a giveaway and a thank you for anybody who posts a picture of themselves wearing the Brody shirt onto my Twitter feed over there and hashtag Brody Alphonso. Local gaming store hashtag on the Twitter feed. So if you want to get in on the draw, once you get that free Treon shirt, the Brody shirt, you take a picture of yourself wearing it at a local game store or a Magic event, hashtag Brody Alphonso. Tag me on the Twitter feed. I'll put you in the draw or something awesome. I don't even know what it is yet, but it's going to be something pretty cool. Just another way to say thank you to you folks and join some fun in the world, get the name out there and promote things, promote the channel, do some good things, and have a little fun with you guys and show a little appreciation for your support. Carcinogen, you've gone and done it. It's all because of you joining this morning that we're announcing that today. So thank you. I appreciate you for joining the Patreon. Excellent. All right, what else we got here? Big news, hey, a little bit. You thought there's news and there's news. There's news, and don't you snooze. So now you folks know about it. Anybody who's got the Brody shirt already, hold on to that sucker with dear life. Don't give it away. You're going to need it if you want to get in on some amazing Magic the Gathering promotional interests. Underground Sea. What's there to say about this? Is anti-legal? I can't believe you revealed that. Wow, you guys can keep it quiet. You guys can keep it quiet, right? Hold on to those Brody shirts. I'm so far behind the mail. I know the mail is tough, right? We're not that big. We're not a huge channel. So it's so far, so it's not too bad to keep up with the mail. So it's good. The big reveal, hey? It's good. I can't believe you revealed that. I did it. I know. I did it. Zipper lip, right? Zipper lip. Where you guys learned that from? Zipper Lip Creek. Speaking of Zipper Lip Creek, here's Zipper Lip Sea, or the Underground Sea. I like it. This one is the bane of all Magic the Gathering Commander players. Everybody's going to want to get themselves an Underground Sea for their Commander deck. And even if Wizards prints another variant of a dual land that's better than this one, people are still going to want this one regardless. It's the blue-black Dimir variant of the Seas. What's a pirate's favorite letter? You think it'd be the R, but it'd really be the C. This Underground Sea be the favorite of the dual lands for me this morning. Here, it's $1,772 for the unlimited version. I like the unlimited version. How can you tell the difference? Because this one says tap right on it. It says tap. See right here? Tap, 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 taparoo. It says tap. And the revised copy just has the tap symbol. So that's another good way of being able to tell the difference. Another notable on these dual lands, Rob Alexander. I was lucky enough to meet Rob Alexander, the landscape artist for Magic the Gathering, who did this art and many of the other landscapes for some of the dual lands. A really talented landscape artist, Rob Alexander. So I did get the chance to meet him at MTG Portland. Grand Prix Portland, the last of the Grand Prix. Ante and Magic, what do the blinds start at, right? Well, it used to be this the top card of your deck. Now, I think actually my little brother Rudy plays for Ante. Like, he won't play you. He's like, I've heard that he won't play Magic unless you're playing for Ante or for money. I don't know if it's true, but let's start a rumor. Why not? It's Friday. It's early. It's before noon. If you haven't heard a good rumor, start one. Just watching some of his videos, you say, well, got to make it interesting. I guess when you get up to that level where the air is thin, you got to keep things interesting or it's not worth your time and money to play Magic. Underground Sea, the $1,700. Where are we playing this? We play it all over the place. Top Deck's using it. Let's pull back the chart. Let's see this here. The unlimited version. $1,772. Look at the price chart on this sucker. It's been drifting down. Drifting down, 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 where the air is clear. All right, let's keep it quiet. Up here. And then, like, this seems like bearish. We're in a bearish market for Magic the Gathering collectibles. We're waiting for the next bull cycle to start, right? This sucker trending down in price. If you've got your eye on anything, maybe you got your eye on some stuff and you're waiting for like the prices to hit the floor. Wait until you hear about the super high-end sale. There's one that usually happens over at Face to Face. It's like 35 to 40% off on super high-end old cards. And that's what I'm looking for myself, to know that the bottom is in and then it's time to start picking up some of these stuff. So I'm building a little bit of a buy list box. You can too. This might be something that's on anybody's radar. You can, of course, get yourself a cheaper version, which is the revised copy. This is the newest version. $799 for the Underground Sea. Ouch! That's expensive card. It's expensive. I'll tell you a little story about the Underground Sea. Okay, you want to hear about Brody's blunders? Brody's biggest blunders. And I actually keep some, when I blunder, I actually keep the thing in my cart because I want to be reminded of the stupidity that is Brody at times. I had a playset of Underground Seas. I think it was in 2017 or 2018. I had them in my cart. They were $250 a piece. So I was like, oh, I don't know, man. That's a lot of bread. I think I'm going to buy a playset. And times were good then. Like, everybody was working. We were making all kinds of money. There was lots of cash going around. People were eating out, 2 or 3 times a week. Barbecues, friends over, good times. Lots of money. The economy was booming. Zings were zinging along. And Magic the Gathering wasn't too expensive. But $1,000 for a playset of Underground Seas seemed pretty pricey to me. I left them in my cart. And it was for near mint copies, $250 a piece, Canadian. So like with the US conversion, that's like $700, right? Or $650, because the Canadian peso is like, it's a feeble currency. It's like, see, the people in the United States, they have the eagle as the representative of their money. In Canada, we have which soars. The eagle soars. So you guys have the eagle on your money, which soars, and we have the loon on our dollar that dives. It goes below the water, right? But anyway, I had the playset of the Underground Seas in my cart at $250 a piece, Canadian, and I was like, I think I'm not going to pull the trigger on that. That's too much money. So I went to sleep on it. I woke up the next day, and they were sold out, and I never did get to pick up that playset. So I'm kind of like, I kind of just remember I had the means at the time to do it, and I didn't. And I always remember that. I'm like, I could have had that playset of Underground Sea. Now I think I'm just like holding on to just 1 or 2 copies for some commander decks. I could have been farther off ahead. But it's one of those things, like, these are the lessons that make you remember. It's like pain is like the best reminder sometimes, right? What is memory good for? Memory is not useful, and it's not designed for you to like be a catalog or an index for phone numbers and everything else. Like, you remember there was a day when you had to remember a certain number of phone numbers, your mom's phone number, your work phone number, your address, your dad's phone number, the combination to your locker at school, and like you thought your memory was used for storing up all this useless information. Actually, memory, my philosophy has changed over memory. Memory is a way of recalling past mistakes in order to change patterns of behavior and become more successful. So rather than using memory and clogging it up with a bunch of useless facts and information that tends to be in there anyway, I always try to give myself something to, that's why I leave them in my cart. So I can look back and remember and go, don't do that again. When you see the price of this come down, Brody, you really gotta strike while the anvil is hot. Where the air is thin. That's right. Take me up there where the air is thin. How you doing, Robert O'Brien? These are your movers and the shakers. We're doing a weekly recap. We got Mind Twist at the top of the list. Dark Pact, a card that you can't play but has awesome art on it. It's an antique card. It's with the old mana pips. It's collectible. It's a rare, and it's in an alpha slot. We got the Underground Sea that Brody slept on and didn't buy a playset for $250 a piece, Canadian. So that always brings back triggering memories, right? Time Vault. Here's a great card. I was able to pick up I bought a collection years ago from a buddy. Actually, I traded for a collection. I didn't buy it. Actually, we made a deal. I traded some stuff for a collection, and he was like, I'm getting out of Magic cards. I bought these, and they've gone up. Emotional damage. That's right, Robert. Brody's got emotional damage. Totally. For the rest of my life. And I will hang on to that emotional damage and use it and wield it to make better decisions in the future. Check it out. Time Vault. Okay, so I had a buddy who picked up a collection. When he told me what he paid for the collection, I was shocked. Because he bought the collection off a guy who was like, I want out. I just want, what do you give me for this entire collection? And it had some old school stuff in it, including a beat up copy of Time Vault. And I'm like, I need it. It's 2 mana. It takes an extra turn. The art on this is so awesome. Give me a second to see if I can find the coolest. The coolest edition of the Time Vault alt art cart that I have ever seen. Where's the Time Vault? Oh, I saw it come up on my Twitter feed, and there's just a bunch of junk on here that, you know, that doesn't make any sense sometimes. If I can find it real speedily, I'll show it to you because there's lots. This one's pretty cute. Wanted Time Vault. Where is it? I want to see the one. Ooh. I want to see the one that the guy altered and did upside down. Where are you? Grab my coffee here. Scrolling. Sorry about the scroll here this morning. I never was expecting Time Vault to be on here. All right. Wow. PWCC. Gem Mint. Time Vault. I'm not going to find it. It's hiding. But what I was going to say, the altar that I saw was a full altar. Full art altar of the Time Vault. It was done really well. It was like the image was reversed and it was borderless, and I can't believe that people take some of these vintage cards in and get them altered. I can't believe it. I mean, some of them are done really, really well, but I just can't believe it that people like customize these old cards. It's just mind-boggling to me. I want to make a custom theme deck, call it Litigation Hell. Contract from Below and Demonic Attorney. MTG Gaming Bob says, I remember doing the same thing about 10 years ago. I had a beta basic lands. I had 100 beta basics in my cart for $100. Thought, nah, for $100 basics is crazy. They're 30 to 70 bucks each now. Yikes. Yeah, if you can, and like, what do you take away from that, right? It's anguish, it's emotional damage, right? But you look back and you say, okay, well, how can I avoid that mistake again? I know the feeling of like wanting to go all in. You're like, $100 for some basics, that's crazy. But if you want to take that same approach to, like, I don't know, another card or another opportunity that you see that's similar, I would say maybe, like, for myself, it'll be like, in the future, it'll be like, okay, well, maybe I won't put $100 in, but maybe I'll get $20 or $25 and just get something, because I find getting something is better than getting nothing, because nothing stinks. Oh, I hate it when there's nothing. You scrape the bottom of the pot. Pooh scrapes the bottom of the honey pot, and oh brother, it looks like I'm all out of honey. So getting something is better. Like, at least, like, for me, at least what I could have done is like, okay, a play set for $1,000. That's I can't really afford that. That's like a mortgage payment. Maybe I should just get one. I would have, at least if I had to just, you know, that whole saying, never split the difference. Well, this is an example of splitting the difference. I think I'd have less regret if I just bought one, even, right? That's how you kind of learn. You're like, okay, well, I think this is a good deal. Should I go all in? And you're like, all in? That seems like a pretty risky investment. But maybe just dip your toe in, your baby toe. Time Vault's good. This card was played with Twiddle. Shout out to the Twiddler in the house. Let's bring that card up because the Twiddler's in the house. Twiddler's plays. Wait, is there a game today? Yeah, Tuesdays and Fridays, right? Post that link in the comments below. What do you got going on for us tonight, Twiddler? What's going on at a Friday night at Twiddler's place? All right, let us know. There's usually a pretty great game going on over there. Now look at this card. This card is actually pretty awesome because this card was namesake card Twiddle Vault. So this is you may tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land. It's also played in like Twiddle Storm and Twiddle Lotus Field. Like, there's versions of it. I believe there are versions of the deck that play it. Let's see. Oravar, the all-form Cody, Vociferous Codex, Mariki Rebarrett, Tarlan, Gigantha, Twiddlestorm. Here we go. Modern Twiddlestorm. This is the way folks are playing Twiddle today in Modern. They're playing it with this Lotus Field. Hex Field enters the battlefield tap. When it enters, sacrifice 2 lands. So you get the tap trigger on the stack, and then before that can make you sacrifice, because it's the second line of text, people tap, untap it with Twiddle, and then tap it for 3 mana real quickly, and then float a bunch of mana, and then cast a bunch of spells, and then they put it in the garbage. I wonder if there's a way to play this with like why aren't people playing Amulet of Vigor? Just a general question. This always kind of bottles me. It bottles my mind. It's mind-boggling, as Will Ferrell would say. Why aren't people playing Amulet of Vigor in the Lotus Field deck? It costs 1. If a thing enters tapped, you untap it. So that can just untap your Lotus Field, and then you would just be able to Amulet and then untap it, and then tap it again, and then untap it with a Twiddle. But speaking of ways to use Twiddle, speaking of Twiddler's Place, and the most exciting game that you're going to find, and some duck races and some action that you're going to see on a Friday night, head on over there and check it out if you guys want to have a little bit of fun. There's like 30, 40, 50 people over there. It gets really busy. He does a really good show, and he goes hard. Let's say I hope you got your pack-cracking fingers rested up for tonight, right, Twiddler? Okay, so Time Vault. Take an extra turn after this one. It enters the battlefield tapped. It doesn't untap during your untap step. And if you would begin your turn while Time Vault is tapped, you may skip your turn if you do untap Time Vault. I think there's even let's look at the Gatherer here, because I want to check out the Gatherer. I think they errated it to put a time counter on it. If you would begin your turn. Yeah, it doesn't have a time counter. The choice whether or not to skip your turn is made as the turn would begin, and only if Time Vault is tapped. If you choose to skip your turn, Time Vault then taps before anything else happens in the next turn. This wording means that you no longer end up skipping multiple turns if you find a way to activate the ability multiple times. Okay, so I thought there was a period of time, no pun intended. I thought there was a period in time, pun intended, when there was a time counter that went on Time Vault. They tried to fix it by saying, okay, you gotta skip a turn to put a time counter on it, and then even if you untap it, you don't get that time counter. But obviously it's been fixed, so all you need to do is find a way to untap this. I'll give you a Voltaic Servant. I'm playing this with Voltaic Servant. Okay, you can actually turn 1 win on with this. People are like, yes, Voltaic Key, but look at this, Voltaic Servant. So you got 1 mana, say a Sol Ring and a Mishra's Workshop. This is why this card is so darn good. Sol Ring and Mishra's Workshop, or a Mox and a Mishra's Workshop. If you can somehow make 4 Black Lotus and a land, if you can somehow make 4 mana on turn 1, use 2 of it to tap this, cast the Voltaic Servant, and 2 of it to cast the Time Vault, you get infinite turns, because this one says at the beginning of your end step, untap target artifact. So you go to your end step, you untap the Time Vault, then you tap it again, take an extra turn. You start that new turn with a 1/3 that can attack, and then you 1 damage your opponent to death by taking infinite turns on, and you can combo off with this in turn 1. So that's another way to do it. The Voltaic Key, the Voltaic Servant, the Time Walk, the Time Warp, the Time Vault, the Twiddle, all the good stuff. Funny you say that, Brody, but I did buy 4 beta Llanowar Elves, Wild Growth, and Giant Growth, but remove the beta basic lands. Happy I at least got the... Okay, well then that's good. That's good. I don't, I feel less bad. It still stinks though. Maybe just don't judge me by my winners. Judge me by my losers, because I have so few. What is that, the Wolf of Wall Street? We got the Plateau. Here's the Plateau, and this version of the Plateau is art version by Drew Tucker. If you didn't know it, there's 2 different art versions. You can tell this one's the unlimited because of this particular art, and then the revised, we got the revised art showing here. I know there's a story here. Why did they change the art? Why did they change it? Drew Tucker art on the one on the right is for revised, and then the Drew Tucker art on the one on the left is for unlimited. I don't know why they changed the art. I remember when I started playing Magic, I got in at revised, and I loved revised because I'm like, I can get all the cards. Yes. Except I didn't realize there was no power in revised because they still had the dual lands in there. I'm like, well, all the good cards got to be there because they have the lands. So people were playing the plateaus, and then when I opened mine, I got this one with the snowy plateau. With the guy, there's a guy with a horse. There is, in fact, a dude with a horse up on the top of the ridge there. So I got this version of the plateau, and people like usually throw this in as trade chaff. If you ever get an opportunity, if you don't have dual lands and you ever get an opportunity to pick up one of these plateaus, do it. I mean, don't snub it too bad. It's actually pretty good. In a Boros deck, you can play it. It's red-white. It's not too bad. Decks using it, lots of decks. Let's check out the chart on this one. $960. And it's usually like good trading if you want to trade up. The Drew Tucker art is amazing. It does with watercolors. Yeah, it's a really good art. I like it. I don't know why they changed it. I'm not familiar. I know they changed it. Maybe there was some controversy. This is another card that's been softening and is giggity softening, getting a little softer and declining over time in price. But it's still pretty expensive. There's definitely fire to fall with these cards. Winota, Joiner of Forces. Right? Winota, the combo deck. Omnath, Locus of All, Shalai of Halar, Selesnya Depths, Gishath, Sun's Avatar, and a bunch of other ones. Azeka, the Ur Dragons, Jeskai, Stoneblade, Edcore Markov, Sisai, Weatherlight Captain. Lots of people playing it. This unlimited version's a little extra dough, a little extra bread. Like, that's the thing with Magic is, like, you gotta, if you want to, like, it sucks. You're like, I gotta get the duels. I mean, I would say a lot of people don't go straight for the unlimiteds and the betas. They, like, take their time and trade up to them. So if you go, like, 4 plateaus, get yourself an Underground Sea, and then you're like, okay, now I got my playset Underground Seas. Once you do that a few times, then you can get into, like, I'll trade them in on an unlimited sea or a black border one. Could be okay. Let's look at this card, Beta Counterspell. Funny enough, I picked up a copy of this card. I did. I picked it up years ago because I was going hard on beta cards. I was kind of in the same basket as you are, Bob. You and I should sit down one day. We'll look at receipts because it's an interesting conversation when you talk about beta commons and uncommons. I really love that conversation because I like looking back on that. I did pick up a few beta commons and uncommons, and this one here I picked up for the Black Border collection. I didn't realize how expensive it was. I'm like, it's just Counterspell, right? And then I think I picked up it for a couple of $100, and then like the guy sent me the wrong card. It was either that or Sleight of Mind. Yeah, it was weird. It was a couple $100. I picked it up, and then I think I ended up getting the right one somehow. But again, Counterspell, there's so many other versions of it, unless you're like, and they're pennies. Pennies on the dollar. You can get it from Tempest for $1.68. You can get all kinds of different versions of it. Starter $19.99. There's a few that are over $100, including the one from Amonkhet. But the beta, why does the beta draw so much attention and command a price of $99? Is it because it's legal in all these different formats, including Commander and Legacy and Vintage and perhaps Pauper and Historic and all the new Historic's banned, Alchemy and and any of the new, like, it's not that people are playing this in the new formats. It's that people who want to play it in old school and the non-rotating formats, some of the formats that aren't even listed here, like, this is like something you got to read between the lines sometimes. Like, I always try to consider old school because it's not listed on any of these popular metagame websites. The internet is so cool that they only list the newest and most up-to-date formats. And then they're like, old school? Nobody cares about old school. It's just a bunch of snooty booties that play it. But it's in fact a pretty great playgroup. So anybody who's playing old school is going to definitely appreciate a copy of the Counterspell in beta, especially in this older black border version. Decks playing it, well, there's a million of them. Murktide Regent's playing it, and I wouldn't be throwing the beta version into the modern Murktide deck. I'd probably hold on to it and put it in an old school deck, but something you're going to need. Juggernaut. Here's a cool card. 5/3. If you didn't know it already, any creature that has 5/3 stats can be known as a Juggernaut. This one was really, really powerful. 5/3 for 4 mana. Must attack each combat if able and cannot be blocked by walls. Pretty cool card. Artifact creature, it can slot in any deck. I kind of thought it should have trample. Why not give it a little trample? You can do so. Where are we playing this? Well, there's a few decks that are playing it, including the Artifact Affinity decks, Vintage Legacy decks. But most of the decks we got listed here are Commander, Eudora Grave Gardener. How much is it? $750 for the beta? Or for the alpha? Alpha Juggernaut is $750. I want to look at the chart on this. Let's pull back the chart. Again, this was as high as $1,500 for an alpha uncommon. Back in middle of 2021, towards the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. These are softening in price. I think there's going to be people that are looking for cash here. This economy seems pretty tough to get along, and I don't know how many people are going to want to hold on to an alpha Juggernaut for too long. Savannah Lions, the original 2/1 in the game of Magic the Gathering, and Llanowar Elves in alpha. Wow, $549. Let's look at the Wall of Brambles. One last card here on your movers and the shakers to go over here. This one is definitely got something to it. Why is this one the most popular wall from the old school cards? It's because it's a plant and it slots into plant. It, like back in the day, it was called Summon Wall. That's it. But now they've got the super type and subtype. It actually counts as a plant. So you can definitely play this in a plant deck, including no decks found. Haha. See, this is another hack. These folks, they don't know what they're talking about. They're not considering the plant deck. Oh boy, dual brain has proliferated. Nice. You like it. Hey, friends and folks and fans of Magic the Gathering. Time for some jokes and a little bit of fun here on a Friday edition of Morning Magic the Gathering Stocks and some Magic the Gathering Talks. I'm going to bring you another article here. History restapled. No Warhammer time like the present. Let's give a shout out to Steve Heisler. I enjoyed Matt Grzelczyk's article. See, I can say it today when I'm not reading his article. Matt Grzelczyk's article from yesterday was awesome. I really appreciate that article. Thank you so much. It was fun to read. There was a lot of great tech, and there was some interesting points made in there. Well done. I think everybody enjoyed that article. But I got another article for you folks here today from Steve Heisler. And this is an interesting article because I saw some other chit chatter going around online where people were saying, hey, Vorinclex is still kicking around. And it could be because this card here that we see in front of us, the Bone Sabers, is a card that features the Praetor on it, even though he himself is not the card. This is an artifact equipment, Bone Sabers. So let's take a look at this. You like it? This article by Steve Heisler. Speaking about Universes Beyond Warhammer 40k, pre-constructed decks provided Commander players with a plethora of knowledge, interesting and powerful game pieces. Many of them are likely to find themselves trapped in the purgatory of Universes Beyond, unable to find their way into a reprint until Wizards of the Coast ventures beyond the meager infinite universe in which it plays. Thankfully, these decks were popular and sold well, so there's a non-zero chance that Warhammer cards will be back in some form or another. For those of you who want to add these cards to a deck right away, especially for those who missed the decks when we're widely available, now it's your chance to snag some of these more affordable cards before supply dwindles and prices begin inching up. Here's a few to prioritize. Bone Sabers. Are you guys want to get some bone sabers? All right, have to get back to work later, Carcinogen. Thanks for joining the conversation here this morning. May the sun be on your face and the wind at your back. Enjoy the weekend. Have a fun Friday and be safe out there. Don't take any wooden nickels. All right, there are much cheaper ways in a green deck to put 4/1/1 counters on a creature than Bone Sabers, but to be fair, there's so many far more expensive ways to do it. 6 mana for a repeatable effect isn't the worst around, especially not one stapled onto a creature. Hell, that's a strength of the Tajuru rate at if you only get it once. With Bone Sabers, 6 mana casts and the equipment it gets you on your best creature for an immediate attack, and if nothing changes, the next turn it provides a free roll for 4 more counters. Free roll, that's an interesting term. Very applicable. Worst case, you can pay 3 more to equip it onto a different creature, increasing the math to 9 mana for 8 counters, which still isn't bad. Yes, there are hoops, but they're quite unimposing. Like trying to dunk on a child's plastic basketball hoop. Ha ha ha. As an equipment, Bone Saber stands largely alone in what it provides, though for some versions of its effect exists cheaply at the moment. Fractal Harness is as close and it costs only $1, but it can't put counters onto a creature that previously had none. A huge difference here is especially in the late game when Armor of Aeronis, a common that provides only 1 counter a turn and costs almost as much mana to cast and equip. However, the price gulf between those cards and the ones that provide multiple colors and counters at the time, including those providing an additional doubling effect like Hardened Scales, Branching Evolution, is quite wide. Just look at how the new Ozlist Shattered Spire. Currently at $6. The Colonian Hydra's confounding $8 price tag, despite the recent reprint. Is there really much difference between doubling the counters on a permanent and adding 4 of them? The Magic Christmas Land, or as I call it, the Chinooka Chaven, sure, but I'd argue that the 4 counters is generally enough to shake things up, even if they're only put onto a single creature. It seems to exist a healthy appetite for redundancy on anything between, say, Fractal Harness and Doubling Season. So take a bite out of some of the Bone Sabers before we reach the expiration date on the price control. Primaris Eliminator. What's this one do? 1 black and 4, when Primaris Eliminator enters the battlefield, choose 1 Executioner round, destroy target creature. Hyperfrag round, creatures your target player controls get -2/-2 and end of turn. So a modal card that lets you choose. It's coming in at a mere 65 cents, roughly. Ravenous Chupacabra is the gold standard of ETB unconditional creature removal, and thus has made its way into a wealth of Reanimator and Flicker decks. According to EDH Rec, the card can be found in almost 70,000 decks across a variety of archetypes. Shriekmaw, Necrotal, and Big Game Hunter simply can't manage as many corner cases. After the slew of reprints, I like the Ravenous Chupacabra. This was a great card from Ixalan. I actually played it with the snake, and it's just a really good card. Decent card. It's a horror too, isn't it? Yes, Beast Horror, so it doesn't bounce with Thing in the Ice. It's actually really good. Ravenous Chupacabra simply cannot hold a candle to Primaris Eliminator. For only 1 more mana, players are given the choice to either destroy a creature or eliminate one of the player's tokens, army, or collection of utility creatures. Sure, 5 mana versus 4 is certainly something to consider, but not when you're going to be reanimating or flickering the card. On a crowded board, having options is paramount and of importance, made even more essential when the game gets down to 1 versus 1. Primaris Eliminator is an uncommon and certainly only running about 50 cents. When trying to snag the card for a precon deck, rarity becomes less important, and there's no telling when this flexible and powerful card is going to come back for us to have some fun in our Chupacabra's monotomy. Chupacabra! And the Assault Intercessor. The mispronunciations continue here on the morning show with Brody Alfonso. The Assault Intercessor. Oh, look at this guy. It looks like, can we get some Shaun of the Dead alt art on this one? Maybe like Army of Darkness alt art here. This seems like way too easy, right? With the chainsaw hand, throw a boomstick in the one hand, and away we go. First strike, Menace, the 3/2 Chainsword. Oh my god, it actually has Chainsword. Whenever a creature of an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. A foe without honor is a foe already beaten. In Commander, your opponent's slow death can be quite profitable of an endeavor. Aristocrat status plentiful and cheap. Drain opponents with their creatures die, ensuring that each fatality drags them closer to their own 0-life grave. The vast majority of such cards, including a renowned blood artist, ping them one at a time, but Assault the Intercessor hits opponents for 2 each time one of their creatures dies, and has first strike ability Menace stapled right on its body for a quickly facilitation of creature deaths while leaving itself intact. For only $1, Assault. I keep wanting calling it Incessor. Assault Intercessor is a steal if your opponent's Ordov deck wants to kill opposing creatures. Don't get any rust on your boomstick, right? And let's be honest, they all do. The card isn't mechanically unique. It's streamlines an already strong effect and offers twice the life-losing power to decks looking to win via non-infinite death. It makes for an excellent blocker, 2, likely resulting in fewer attacks to your direction and thus virtual life gain. March Madness. I had planned to cover the few March of the Machines card in this column from Steve Heisler, but time got away, and we think these from the Warhammer 40k cards are more in danger of rising in price in the short term. Tune in for another article with Steve Heisler that we'll read on the stock desk coming soon. A writer that writes about pop culture journalism, covering comedy, games, television, film, tech industry. His work has been published in Rolling Stone, GQ, Variety, AV Club, Fast Company, the Chicago Sun-Times, and now on the Brody Alfonso Morning Show, peeking out at the peak of his game. Steve Heisler writing for the stock desk, featured here on the show. Thank you so much. Steve likes a game of tennis, Dark Souls family video games, and supporting live comedy. He lives in Chicago with his cat, Rosie. A whole lot of Rosie. Yeah, a whole lot of Rosie. Give me a whole lot of Rosie. So Bone Sabers, Steve Heisler picks for the week. Bone Sabers, Primaris Eliminator, and Assault Intercessor for only pennies. Pennies for pickups. Pickup for pennies. You can get them too. Many, many pennies. Very nice. Thank you, Steve Heisler. I got one more article just to read to you folks before we get on with our day. The 5 most expensive Aftermath cards. Let's take a look here. These are the 5 most expensive. We're talking stocks, we're talking finance, we're talking Magic the Gathering, we're talking about getting the fun into your collection, cheap pickups, things to watch for, things to get into your collection to preserve the fun. So long term, hopefully the value goes up. And when we're going to build decks, we got the staples and the things on hand. Are we going to get a secret agent review of the new Secret Lair Super Drop? Yes. You know, funny, Mrs. Alfonso has been saying, are you going to do a secret agent review of that? Yes, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to. We got some time, though. We do have time. You know, the one card that I do want out of the Secret Lair is the only card that I, like, seriously. Serious point, serious fate, serious hat, serious shirt, serious cup of coffee, serious face. The only card that I'm actually excited about in the Secret Lair is the Walking Ballista. And that includes all the Secret Lairs to date. Like, out of all the Secret Lairs that have been made, I'm like, not too interested. I wouldn't spend money on them. I wouldn't spend Rudy's girlfriend's boyfriend's money on it, except the Walking Ballista. I kind of like that card, so I'm perplexed because I thought I saw it in like a 2-pack or a 4-pack, but the Walking Ballista seems like a really good card long term. Out of all my picks at the Secret Lair, out of all the Secret Lairs that have ever been printed, the Walking Ballista in the foil in the new frame seems like a winner to me. That's just my opinion. If that's just a fact based on my opinion. March of the Machines Aftermath is something that we never, ever seen before. Even though there are only 50 different cards in Wizards of the Coast first mini set, each one has a ton of varying art, and there's tons and tons and tons of uncommons, and you're probably going to get all of them if you buy some of it. Making financial assessments is a little bit unique for this set, as has been seen with Innistrad double features. Scarcity, even in the recent products, means money, and that set's unique approach made it flop overall, meaning there are fewer copies of the cards in circulation, and the Aftermath set has a stronger and average chance of being opened less as well. Thanks to the set being undraftable, this could make these cards a lot more scarce than expected. Okay, do you agree, disagree, or what? We're still in a pre-release season, so these prices are subject to significant change, but here we are, currently the most expensive Magic the Gathering Aftermath cards you can open in a pack. The list will be in the order of the most expensive at their traditional iterations, but we will also discuss the most expensive copies of each pick that are currently available. Calyx, Guided by Fate. Calyx, he was printed in Golgari color suit, I believe. Calyx also has a Planeswalker. Here he's lost his spark. Selesnya card, 1 white, 1 green, and 1 for Calyx. Legendary enchantment creature, 2/2. He's a bear. Constellation, whenever Calyx Guided Fate or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Whenever Calyx or an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may carry that token. That's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. Do this only once a turn. Do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, Brody. Our number 5 spot is an excellent example of how heavily secondary market prices for March of the Machine Aftermath cards are currently in flux. There are a few cards other than those cards' cheapest variants have a high market average than Calyx, Guided by Fate. They're already selling for less than this card is currently. Calyx is a great pickup for an Enchantress deck, whether that be in Standard, Modern, or Commander. The card offers incremental growth for each enchantment that enters the battlefield under your control and can snowball even further away when the enchanted creature connects. This works excellently with enchantments like Doubling Season, Anointed Procession, and Commander, allowing for some explosive potential. On the cheap end, copies of Calyx are selling for $6.50. The Halo Foil variant is about $21. Training Grounds. We talked about Training Grounds yesterday. This is a card I want to get. I don't have a copy of it. I never got it from Rise of the Eldrazi, but now it seems like we can probably get a copy. Fairly cheap. Number 4 is Training Ground. This is the 1 mana enchantment that says activated abilities creatures you control cost 2 less to cast, and this effect can reduce the mana. It can't reduce it to less than 1 mana, so it can't make stuff free, but it can give you a discount. This incredible reprint was needed. Training Grounds has already lost a ton of value, making it accessible to players, while the card is probably the best used in Commander. Training Grounds is 1 mana enchantment, enables a lot of infinite combos. These strategies, constructed environment, generally need you to build around it. Once the card provides value in a combination with other cards, making it a dead draw in many scenarios. Because of this, the card is not super impactful in Modern at the moment, but this reprint may make it a Pioneer Standard legal where you could stand to make an impact. Training Grounds is currently selling for about $8.50, with a non-foil version selling for a bit more. This is less than 1/3 of the card's originally priced back in February, where it was selling for $35. The most expensive variant of Training Ground doesn't even match this price, approaching $30 mark. Obnixilis, this card is the card that I keep seeing on Twitter. People are calling it Obnixilis the Man Spreader. This card, look at, I guess the thing, and I didn't really pay any attention to it, but people are like, why are people talking about this? Bulge-Nixilis, I think, or they're calling him Bulge-Nixilis the Man Spreader. All the other, because he's like, I guess he's man spreading here. Obnixilis the Man Spreader. Most potential value. As of writing this article, March of the Machines, the Aftermath, not currently available on shelves, but it's available on MTG Arena, and Obnixilis, the captive kingpin, is threatening to reshape the meta only days after the end of the Pro Tour, instead of reshaping being a whole new archetype. However, there threatens to be some core shell that has plagued Standard for now more than a year, with an infinite combo sprinkled on top. We discussed it more in detail in a separate article. Long story short, it'll be a win the game combo with Obnixilis the Man Spreader displaying his crotch pumping abilities on. My dual brain comment is, yeah, it's a good comment. Okay, I'll give you, here, how about this comment? I wouldn't use Rudy's wife's boyfriend's credit card to buy it. No, of course. The cheapest iteration of the new Rakdos Rockstar currently costs about $12, but there's a lot of opportunity for the card to increase in price. Players are playing this card in an Impact Standard deck in a massive way, thanks to slotting it perfectly into a Pioneer archetype. The Rakdos mid-range deck is going to play it in iterations of the Cat Oven deck. Its iterations are likely to become the most expensive set in the Aftermath block. Here we go. Nissa, the Resurgent Animus. This is the 3/3 legendary Elf Scout. Here we go. Nissa Resurgent Animus shows some potential as one of in modern elemental decks. Maybe playable in elves, but primarily a powerful tribal card for commander. Nissa's crucial ability of a triggered off of a second land drop per turn makes it tougher to sell in a non-fetch land format. But Omnath Locus of Creation still has a niche spot in Pioneer and does the Elves archetype. Let's read Nissa again. A green and 2 for the legendary creature Elf Scout. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. So it's got like the Lotus Cobra ability on her. Then, if this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an elf or elemental card. Put that card on the battlefield. Oh no, put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in the random order. So it can go get you the Omnath. It can get you the elemental of choice or the elf of choice, whatever you so desire. The cheapest variant is comparable to the numbers in the number 1 spot, even exceeding in some cases. That said, the most expensive iteration of this card is $27 to $30 and cheaper than the number 1 spot, which placed it there on the list. You can now find the most affordable copies of Nissa for about $14 to $15 right now, and variants seem to be even cheaper. Karn Legacy Reinforced. 5 mana Karn. We got a new Karn, legendary artifact creature. Back to creature status. Karn Legacy Reforged power and toughness are equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. So he's a star. At the beginning of your upkeep, add a colorless for each artifact you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells until end of turn. You don't lose this mana. He's a mana dork. He's great. Karn Legacy Reforged. The commander card through and through. Gigantic mana sinks, and this one don't tend to significantly impact constructed, especially with a mana value of 5. Regardless of this, Karn Legacy Reforged looks like the artifact commander that a multitude of Magic the Gathering players have been waiting for. Boasting a gigantic body and creating an absurd amount of mana, card truly shines in a grindy format like Commander, where games can go for hours and hours. Even though Karn's most expensive variation doesn't come close to touching Ob Nixilis. Giggity, don't touch Ob Nixilis, especially in his touchy parts. Its cheapest variant is still a bit more expensive than Ob Nixilis, currently going for around $14, and the Karn will likely lose some of its price upon the set release, since the demand for the card is unlikely to be as high as Ob Nixilis. That said, the most valuable iteration of the card, the Retro Foil, seems to be quite popular, currently available for around $37. Overall, Karn Living's Legacy variants are some of the most expensive Magic cards in the Aftermath set. All right, so Ob Nixilis, the Man Spreader, quite likely going to be the most expensive card in the Aftermath set. Indeed, it's Friday, folks. Thanks for joining me on the morning show, Morning Stocks and Talks, where we talk a little Magic. We have a few laughs, a few giggles, a few jokes joining me here this morning. All you folks, fans of Magic the Gathering, who love the game as much as we do, thanks a bunch. Why did the French person go to McDonald's? It was French Friday. Ha 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 ha. Okay. And just like every other man, I prefer casual Fridays when I finally don't have to wear my robe and snakes to work. My robe of snakes to oh, God. What is this? That's enough of it. Let the hilarious persist. Just like a -1/-1 counter. Brody's bringing you the Bro Show each and every day, Monday through Friday here on the morning. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there for you? Or is there just too much gall darn information? Let me do it for you. I'm doing it each and every morning here on the morning show. I love it. It's a good time. Thank you, Carcinogen, for the new Patreon spot. Hold on to your t-shirts, folks. It's going to be a bit of a wild ride this year. We're gearing up to do some fun things. Growing the channel, hitting the new subscribers. Thanks to DJ Longhair, Mr. Dual Brain, Benson, Carcinogen, Robert O'Brien. Coach is in the house. Thank you for coming to all my games. Anger Collections, appreciate you. Everybody else who's joining this morning, MTG Gaming Bob, Michael Superbacker, Twiddlers in the house. A good time. You guys enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. It should be some sunny outside. They finally got the fires out, so it's not stinky and smoky outside. We can actually go outside and have a little fun. Stay safe. Take care of one another. May the sun be on your face and the wind at your back. We'll talk to you all again on Monday. This is Brody Alfonso here on the morning show. Have a good day, everybody. We'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye.